All right, well, here we go. That's my Jeep, 2000. Oh, sorry, 99. Keep forgetting. My 99 Jeep Wrangler, 4-liter, and I am developing an exhaust leak. And I just found out where it was. Very common for these exhaust manifolds to get cracked, and the crack is actually, let's see if I can show you. Let's see. Let me get a better shot at this. All right, screw it. Let's do this shit. I'm gonna go ahead and start taking this apart. First things first, air intake. Get this pipe off. Get that breather line off. Careful not to break that elbow. That's a pain in the ass. So let's get that together and we'll get moving. Let me go get a tripod, get you guys set up, and maybe show you this step by step. I think you just squeeze it. Yep. There. That one is a bit of a pain. See something. Uh-oh, that might have broke. Nope. Wow, the way that guy came loose, I thought that snapped for sure. Alright, a little bit more room to work with now. This wiring harness. So there to there. This one gets unplugged. Wow, these things are a pain. Don't know how. Oh, there it goes. This has got a zip tie on it. Okay. So far, all three of these are different. So they should be able to plug back in easily enough. Okay, it's unplugged. I'm gonna get zip tie. So somebody's been in here. Okay, so okay, that goes. All right, on this side of the intake manifold, there's 3 vacuum lines. They're all 3 of them are different sizes, so you're not going to get them mixed up, and they just pop right off. It's the one furthest to the back. These guys here. I'm just going to stick that up in here somewhere. This one here goes. I don't know what any of this is for, but that's what this one is. I don't know. Really don't know what I'm looking at. But okay, that's off. This one here goes to this canister here. Okay, and then the rest of this wiring harness. There's one connector here. One connector here. Let me get. I want to get these out of the way. Okay, this one comes right off. And I think this one should come right off too. It doesn't. So I don't want to break it. Okay, that's good enough. That'll stay out of the way. This one here plugs. And this one here okay. This guy. This thing out of the way. I want to get all this cleaned up too, you know, there's dust and oil and grease and shit all over it, so once this is all out of here I can get it nice and cleaned up. Alright, essentially there's the wiring harness for the Jeep. It's all out, which is good. Okay. Now I can get off the fuel line and the fuel line bracket down here that holds the fuel line. It's just a holder to hold it to the manifold, the intake manifold. Let's get these wires out of the way here. Okay, I'm going to shut you off for a second because I don't have the fuel line tool that I have to pull off this. I have 4 sizes, but the smallest one is too big, so I have to go up to the store to get a new one. So I'll be back, and then we'll take off the power steering pump too. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I just got back from the store. I had to go get myself a fuel line removal tool, and the way they work is you see the hard line going into there. You kind of get the, you know, they come in different sizes. This is a little bit bigger, this one's smaller. The other one that I have is multi-size. Oh, crap, somebody's here. So let me go see who this is and I'll get right back to you. Oh, never mind, he's turning around. But okay, so to do this, put it on the hose like that, stick it inside, push the fuel line towards it and the tool towards the fuel line, and then the fuel line pops right off. because there's those four little, there's four little spring-loaded little ramps, and these go in there and kind of push them aside and get them over that lip. So now that that's done, I got to get the fuel line. There's a holder that holds the fuel lines to this intake manifold. I got to get that off, and it's rotten. So I'm probably just gonna, it's probably gonna break the bolt, which is not a big deal, but I got to tackle that next. And you guys can't see it, so I'll get back to you in a minute. Well, I got lucky on that. It unscrewed from the manifold. You can see that nut is never coming off this deal, but unscrewed from the manifold, no big deal. It probably used to be a 10 millimeter, but I was able to get it with a 3/8, so a little bit smaller. All right, now that the fuel line, okay, good, the fuel line is away. Now the next thing I'm going to do is release the tension on the belt and get rid of the power steering pump. And then we're ready to take off the intake. So let me get you set up and I'll show you how to get that off. Alright, so first thing I got to do is the tension pulley, it needs to be loosened. Like that. Just a little bit. And then the adjuster has to go in. What that's doing is pushing the tension pulley away from the belt. Oh, the front of this pulley has holes in it, and that's what you reach through with your socket to get these bolts out. And there should be just 3 of them. Yeah, 3 of them. One down here, here, and here. And they look to be 13 mil, maybe? Yep, 13 mil. I put some PB Blaster on these before I started this. So, living in the Northeast, man, we got a lot of issues with salt. So, any of these jobs, you need to definitely have heat. Well, for this job, hopefully not, but heat and penetrating oil. Two more. That is now out of the way. Alright, here we go. I think I'm going to need to pop these with a wrench first. Can I get... Yeah. Alright, I know that I need to take the bottom ones off first so this thing doesn't fall on my head or fall on my hands, but I'm going to at least crack these loose and knock them back on. Oh God, hang on, that hurt. Let me do the 9/16 and an old school impact wrench. Okay. Try not to break your injectors off. That'd be bad. Oh shit, I don't know. I don't think this got loose. I think I just rounded it over. I did. Okay, so that's not good. Let me try a different size wrench here. $14 tighter? Yeah, 14's tighter. Already did this one. Come on, dummy. There we go. Alright. Alright. Yeesh. That one's tough to get to. Alright. I'm going to need to go to get the ones underneath. I think there's only 3, if I recall, or 2. I'm not sure. I got to feel around and look for it, but you guys are in my way, and so is this little radiator support. So I'm going to get these things out of the way, and I'll get back to you in a minute. And then after I get this off, the biggest issue I have left is the Y pipe. The bolts going to that look to be pretty bad, so I don't know if I gotta cut them and then get new one. I don't even know what goes on down there. I gotta take a better look at it. And see, now these are nice and finger tight, so they're not rotted out. Back one looks like it's going to be a bit of a pain to get to. I'll probably be able to get to it with a socket. I don't know. We'll see in a second here. I should have gave you a before video of what this sounded like. Wasn't too bad, but you can definitely hear the air. You know, you can hear that air noise coming out of the manifold. Wasn't like a super loud exhaust leak, but it was definitely annoying. And once I pull this manifold out, you'll be able to see what I'm dealing with, and it is from what I understand, a pretty common issue with these. Come on, get on there. There we go. Okay. You can see that the manifold separated from the head, which I think is good. I think that means I got all the bolts loose underneath. But we're going to find out in a second here when I try to pull up on this thing. Yeah, I think I did. That's good. Come on. There we go. With any luck, this will come out. And it's not. Oh, there it goes. There we go. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, you can see these bolts here. These also hold in the exhaust manifold, but you don't screw them in all the way, and you kind of. Okay, to explain this better, take a look at this real quick. This bolt here That holds the manifold on, the exhaust manifold on, so you can tighten that up pretty good, not torque it, but just tighten it up. And then there's one on the back, very back corner. This one down here, this one down here, this one here, and the one I took out right here. You just you put those in finger tight, and then the manifold, the intake manifold slips behind this washer, okay? And then you put in the top ones, and then you torque it all down. So now the only thing left to do to get this exhaust manifold out is that nut there and one on the back. And then of course where the Y pipe, I know I call it a Y pipe because I mean a V6 would be a Y pipe, but where the two pipes go into one, I'm just calling that a Y. So I gotta pull this nut out, or this bolt out here, and there's one underneath. And once they're out, this manifold should come off. So let me get those two nuts off the manifold, and we'll get going from there. All right, I didn't even mess around trying to loosen these bolts down here on this flange, because this flange has got it's got a split in it where you can actually open it up, and so I can buy another one basically. So if I wanted to reuse it, that's fine. I just need two bolts, but it's kind of getting rotten, so I think I'm just going to replace the whole flange. So now it is time to take off the manifold. I don't think you can see the one I'm working at, but it's in the front corner. And then the back one. Wrenches on the floor. Okay, this should pop right out. Should. And it does. Alright, perfect. Let's get this on the bench and I'll show you what I'm dealing with here. Alright, here it is. That crack right there. Just makes that nasty exhaust leak noise, and it's right under your feet. So I'm gonna get off the new manifold and we'll take a look at it. Alright, well there's the new header exhaust manifold. You can see the only difference is on this end and that end. That's to allow the pipe to move around slightly, and that's probably why that one breaks right there, is because it's not allowed to move around, and it stresses on that piece right there and then finally breaks it. So I think that's what that is for. That's the fix. But anyways, can that be welded? Absolutely. In fact, I'll probably weld it up and take it to my local guy who sells Jeep parts. He might have a use for it if they got one that's rotten out or something. But they can weld it up, or I can weld it up and make it nice and get it going. If this was more than 160 bucks or 150 bucks, I would have definitely fixed that one. But since this one was so cheap, and it came with the new, it came with the gasket, and I believe it even came with hardware, but it came with a new gasket and everything. So you know, I'm just go ahead and put a new one on. So what I'm going to do now is get this gasket off and just clean up the surface there, and then scrape off that, you know, scaly old paint and crap that used to be on this block before. Throw some air down there, get rid of that, and then put some paint on it, and also clean up the oil on there and stuff. But I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up this thing and get ready for the reinstallation. All right, well, that was the biggest pain so far, is putting that donut on the end of the exhaust. I actually had to just take my sanding disc and just file around the outside flange on here just to get a little tiny taper so I could slide this donut on and tap it on the rest of the way. It's this thing's made of metal, and it's like metal wire, so when you try to pound it on, it bunches up and it gets all screwed up. So I was able to finesse it and get it on. So now we're just gonna go ahead and start the installation. think you are in my way. Maybe not. Okay. Oh, doesn't that look nice? Okay. I didn't get a new one of these flanges, but they did give me new hardware for that one. So I'm going to cheap out and reuse that one. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put these, the two nuts holding this thing on, and then we'll get to cleaning up the intake and installing that. So hang on. Alright, I'm going to try to fish this in here with you here, but you might be in the way. So... With any luck, this will go down in there, and I won't because I'm stuck. Okay, let me get one started up there to hold it, because I know one of these washers is probably stuck. Shit. What are the odds of that rolling out and hitting me in the toe instead of going off into the abyss? That was pretty good. Come on. Okay. Okay. Well, that's there. I gotta go underneath and with a screwdriver and see these washers here. I think it's this washer got kinked, so I gotta go underneath there and pop it through. So I'll be back in a second. All right, with a little wiggling around and moving stuff, I was able to get it. It's a bit of a pain. I mean, I gotta go underneath still and tighten them, which is a pain, but we'll get it figured out. So yeah, you see these washers, it bridges the manifold, exhaust manifold and intake manifold. It bridges them. So I put the bottom ones on real loose so I could slide it in. And now we got to put these guys on and tighten them all up equally. Started. Okay, so I think I'll do this. Get these guys snugged right up. This is gonna reach or not. Just a little bit. And I'm gonna stop you guys for a minute and go underneath and tighten the bottom ones real tight. Alright, we're moving right along now. Got the wiring harness over here. Oh, got the leg of the tripod out underneath it, so that's not good, but so I remember it all went under this rail here.
How hungry are you?
I'm pretty hungry. How long do you want me to How long before you want me in there?
Whenever you're ready, it's ready.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's just leftovers, so I just heat it up and eat it.
Okay.
So.
Give me 10 minutes. Okay. Alright. The cool thing about wire harnesses, they kind of lay. I mean, unless you're putting a brand new one in there and it doesn't already have the, you know, you're setting it up, they pretty much lay where they want to go. So, I know that these guys went up here. That one there, that one there. Okay. These two in here. Snapping in. Go back to that. That one snapped in there. Okay. These two wires that went back behind the engine here. One of them goes here. Not that one. It's plugged in. So injectors, they're pretty much right where they want to go. So they clip in, make a snap, and then you slide down that little red window or door. Right. Okay. So remember this white wire that goes to this guy over here. Not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I'm still kind of thinking that's for the alarm that I don't use, so I'm not really worried about it, but I'm going to check it out. Okay, so this wire goes here for sure. Unless it's this one. No, that one doesn't even fit. Why won't this latch? Tab's broken.
Would you rather green beans or broccoli?
Broccoli, please. Okay. This wire here. Goes to here. Okay, and now I'm missing one. Missing one wire. I'm pretty close. I have that one wire that I lost. I know it's hanging down behind the engine. I was hoping I can grab it from the top, but I can't. Because it goes for the temperature sensor on the exhaust, I think. Yep, there it is. Okay. That's the exhaust temp. I think. Which way do you go? Which way do you go? Right there. Okay. I have a metal clip that goes here that these two wires zip tie to. And I have a bolt for the fuel line. Let me go get that and I'll be right back. Alright, where were we? I got all the 3 vacuum lines on the back of the intake on, and I have the rest of the wires hooked up. And this white wire here, I was having an issue getting hooked back up, and I think it's because the tab that you push down, when I pushed it down, it stayed in the down position, the unlock position. So I just wedged a screwdriver in there holding it up, and hopefully it'll be in the up position and kind of hold its memory there. And it seems to have, so maybe it'll click in now. Nope. Let me see here. That needs to go. Oh, there it goes. I don't know if you heard that click, but it just clicked in, so that's good. And now to this white wire. I'm still pretty certain that it has to do with the old alarm system on it, because it goes down to this little speaker here. Kind of runs off of that deal. But I'm going to hook it back up, only because I just want it to be right back to the way it was, just in case that wire has another thing. My dog's barking at something. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the wire that goes under the rail, and just get this soldered up. Well, let me get a piece of shrink wrap. Put that on there. That seems like a big piece of shrink there too. It's out of the way for a minute. I think that's pretty much how it went. Alrighty. Let's see what else do I got. Throttle. throttle cables and stuff. What's going on with this thing? Okay. This out of here for a minute. Come on. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on. Alright, I think that's it for that. Oh. Okay, that goes there, that goes there. Okay. Let's go over or under? Over. Okay, I think we're just about ready to try to fire this thing up. Just about. All right, let's take a quick peek. Okay, got the wires on. Everything is on. Belt is tight. All right, I think I'm ready to fire this up. Battery wasn't dead, I was just out of memory. Had to go delete some crap. All right, let's see if we can get fuel in the system. A little bit of air. For a shot. Okay, that's not right. We need to figure what's going on here. Get back to you in a second. All right, well, here's what the issue is so far. You just heard me fire up the Jeep, and it popped a few times and then tried to overrev like crazy. So I had to shut it down real quick and kind of try to figure out what the hell's going on with it. And the first thing I came to are the vacuum lines on the back of the intake manifold. Because if they're off, they're sucking air, and that's an over-rev issue. The other thing was I checked all these wires to make sure these wires were hooked up, and everything was fine. All the vacuum hoses on the, everything seemed to be fine. Everything was good. I called my buddy Brad up, And Brad, thank you very much for your help. We started troubleshooting some stuff. He asked me if I took off the intake, or if I took off the throttle body, and I did to clean the intake. There's a gasket underneath there, and he thinks that maybe I clocked it wrong. So I took that off and looked at it, and the gasket can go on either way, so that wasn't the issue. So then to try to test everything, I pulled all these cables off just in case when I fired it up something was, you know, making the throttle open up. Because I obviously couldn't look in here while I was at the key because I had to shut it off real quick or else it would rev up to the, you know, the red line. So I unplugged all those and went in and fired the Jeep up, and the same thing. It tried to rev right up and I shut it off real quick. So after talking to him for a little bit longer, we kind of came to the conclusion that is definitely an air issue. It's definitely sucking air. It's not sucking fuel because the butterfly plate is shut on the throttle body. Nothing was connected to it. It's got to be an air issue. Too much air and it'll over rev. So he asked me about the dowel pins. There's 2 dowel pins, one at the front of the intake manifold and one at the rear. And if you look at this bolt, you see how it's got this big wide washer? Half the washer is on the exhaust manifold, the other half of the washer is on the intake manifold. When you tighten them down, they tighten together and it holds it against the head. When I was underneath the Jeep, and he reminded me of it because I started thinking about it as soon as he said it, on that back dowel pin, when I tightened that bolt back there, something didn't seem right. The washer seemed to me like it was cocked a little bit. I can't see too well under there, but that's what it felt like. So I went underneath there with my phone and turned on the video camera and got it right up against the hole on the dowel pin and started taking a look at it. So I took a screenshot of it, and I'm just gonna put it on in front of the camera here on my phone to kind of show you what I'm talking about. That right there is the dowel pin, and if you look, you can see the manifold is actually down over the top of the dowel pin this direction. So I tapped up on the thing and I tapped it up way too high, and then I tapped it back down. I started tightening the bolts, and then all of a sudden it sucked right in, and it got in and it's good. So I tighten that down. I tighten everything else up. I go to start up the Jeep and it over revs again. So I come back to the front here, and now and as soon as I loosen this one off, I felt the intake manifold just move, just kind of click a little bit, and I believe that's what was happening. I think I popped out of the bottom dowel pin here, and when I did that, I popped it back in. So now I got this all tightened up. I got all the bolts tightened up. They all seem to snug up really good, and we're gonna see if this is the issue. If not, then I got a cracked intake manifold. But let's see. All right, cool. That's it. No more exhaust leak. I hear a little ticking, and that's under the valve cover there. So I got one of the lifters is ticking, which is pretty common on these 4-liters. Couldn't hear it before because of the exhaust leak, but no, nice and quiet now. Good. I am going to go underneath the Jeep, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about with that dowel pin and with those bolts. So hang on, I'll get right back to you. All right, you see that bolt right there? Let me see if I can get a better angle at it. See that bolt right there? See how it pinches on the bottom of the exhaust flange and the edge of the intake manifold. And if you look right there, you see that open hole? Oh wait, where am I looking? Crap, can't see it. No, that's it. See that open hole? You can just see the edge of the dowel pin sticking through the hole right now. It wasn't there, it was back, and you can actually see a little bit of a shiny spot on the bottom of that dowel pin. I think that's what I'm looking at. I don't know, my eyes aren't focusing really well. But okay, so that bolt, when I came underneath here to take a look, that washer right there was cocked a little bit. So the flange, the whiter part, that's the intake manifold, that was popped out a little bit, kicking the washer to that end. So now you can see the washer is nice and level. It's got a purchase on the exhaust manifold, which is a shiny part, and the intake manifold, which is the white part. And then down the line, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it. Everything's in the way. But there's 3 more bolts just like it. And they're all now where they should be, and everything's tightened down and nice. So that seemed to be the issue. All right, well, it's all back together and everything seems to be good. I got a little bit of smoke coming out of everywhere, but that's, you know, I had cleaner and junk all over everything. My hands are all dirty and greasy and handling the exhaust pipe and everything, so that's gonna happen. So I'll run it out in the driveway for a little while and make sure that clears up, and then we'll go from there. But Brad, hey, listen, really thank you so much for getting on the phone with me and walking me through some of the stuff. Like I was just telling you, eventually it probably would have came to me, but man, after probably a couple holes in the wall and, you know, some broken things around the place. But no, thank you so much for your help, and I really do appreciate it. So that's it for this one, and if you could, please comment, rate, subscribe, and have a great day.